This is where the fun begins.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this breaking news. And I have Stig and Ms. Muses with me. So, hello, Ms. Muses. How are you doing this fine morning for me? But you possibly?
I'm actually doing very, very well. I think this is a very good Monday.
Mm-hmm. I am picking up on your energy. I had a great Sunday as well. So I'm vibing with some Zen peacefulness and stuff. So this should be an interesting conversation. So hopefully it won't leave mad, or I don't know. Maybe we'll leave more peaceful. We'll see. And Stig, how are you doing?
Quite well.
Nice.
Been reading and stuff and watching some old movies. So I'm splendid.
You're splendid. Awesome. It feels like I haven't talked to you guys like in a while, but like I said, I went off social media for the weekend. I had business to take care of, and it was good stuff though. Yeah. So Stig got a hold of me this morning and then I had a little conference call and I was like, okay, we'll do it. But he shared some news with me. So go ahead and tell us about this news, Stig, and then we'll get into some more conversation about it.
Well, by the looks of it, according to the news site, Kathleen Kennedy has gotten a 3-year contract extension. Kind of flew under the radar, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, though, that the news site, it's called the Direct, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit wonky. You know, they get things wrong now and again. But then again, I have seen a lot of YouTubers use that site as a reference quite often, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here,
but you know what though, the last, and correct me if I'm wrong about this because my memory is a bit wonky, but last time Kathleen Kennedy got a contract extension, right? They released a trailer to kind of distract from it, and I think it was the last season of the Clone Wars that got a trailer at that point, I think.
Yeah.
And well, last week we had the Boba Fett trailer, didn't we?
Yes.
So it might be nothing though. It's just Disney Lucasfilm is nothing if not predictable in a bad way.
And so, Teresa, what did you think about this when you heard?
I thought grass is green, sky is blue, water is wet. I mean, of course her contract got renewed. We know that it was supposed to be up a few weeks ago. We didn't hear any news. As we said, it went under the radar. No one was announced. There were no rumors of any change happening at all. So it completely makes sense. And the funny thing is I am willing to bet all 18 of my cat's lives, both of them, that it's not even a question in Hollywood or in Lucasfilm and all that her contract was going to be renewed or not. And they're going, why is everyone thinking it's not going to be renewed? What's wrong with you all? Of course it's going to be renewed. She's done some really great work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people are praising The Mandalorian up left and right and telling people to watch it. So, and the Baby Yoda merch and stuff like that is actually selling a lot.
Through the roof.
So the arrow is pointing upwards. So
yeah.
I think at this point, she had a better chance at getting a new contract than last time. But yeah, personally, she should, in my opinion, she should have never gotten the job in the first place.
Right.
She's been a disaster. But, money talks, and people, her critics keep telling people to watch the stuff she produces. So,
yeah,
whoever's in charge of giving her a new contract will notice that, I suppose.
Right. And then when you look at her filmography, like in her history of working in Hollywood in the business, I think she has more projects that were successful than none. And then, so that's
Yeah,
volumes.
but
I mean, that's under.
it probably, it wasn't successful because of her, though.
No, I'm
Even
just saying.
Spielberg says she was just a glorified secretary, but her name is on it,
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. It's like because she's associated with it and it's became a success and she was tied to it. That means any project that includes The Mandalorian and people, and this is my point, is past and even present, whatever she was producer, had her name under, whatever, and it turned out to be good, then that's a plus for her. And people disassociate her with the Disney Plus. There's film, and I even shared a clip of her saying that she's involved with everything, including the TV series, which is Disney Plus. That's The Mandalorian. That's the Book of Boba Fett. All of those are coming out. That's the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And that she is learning a lot of being a producer with those type of series and shows because it's different than filming a film.
Yeah, D. Carey in the chat is asking if it's a full term or yearly contract. According to this site, it's 3 years. A 3-year contract extension.
Yeah. So basically, she just had it renewed. It's not really an extension because if it's 3 years, then it's a renewal. If it's an extension, then it would be less than I would. That's how I picture that.
Yeah.
So,
and also one needs to also understand that not only is her name associated with them, remember she's associated with them as producer. And producing something is a lot different than being a creative, than being a director and all that. I'm sure she is fantastic at managing money, at hiring and finding the right facilities. And she's a businesswoman.
Yeah, she was the one who hired, what's her name? Rosario Dawson to play Ahsoka.
Absolutely. And
Favreau
she's the one,
said it, actually.
Yeah, and she's the one that hired Favreau and all them. She has made some very good decisions. One could argue, I'm not defending this lady, but look at this objectively. Yeah, they crashed and burned, and they made some bad decisions. They had some problems with Solo, but it seems like under her leadership, they've turned it around from a certain point of view. And they've got people praising the living crap out of them. Suddenly you're seeing Star Wars merch anywhere. You've got people, as we said, even on YouTube, even people that were very critical of the sequel trilogy that are adoring The Mandalorian and that are very excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So if you're looking at it from an objective point of view, she's done a great job. She's the one who brought back PS5 Luke Skywalker, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I think it was PlayStation 3 Luke Skywalker, really, but...
Oh, my fault.
I wouldn't know that much, but you gamer, yes, you probably know that.
Yeah, and nobody get all upset and say, I'm defending this woman. I'm not. I'm just saying, look at what she's done.
You were being...
Yeah, if you just... if you put the shit writing aside and just look at the numbers, I suppose, they're pointing upward. Compared to what went on with Solo. I mean, holy crap. That one lost money, and what the hell were they thinking? I mean, casting Alden Ehrenreich as Solo. I'm sure he's a fine actor in other things, but that's the guy they wanted to basically portray Harrison Ford. I mean, wow.
Yeah, and it was their choice, and wasn't it Spielberg that recommended him anyways, got him in?
There's a rumor about that. I don't think it has been confirmed, but I've seen people say it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Some people say Kathleen Kennedy has been fired 200 times. So.
Exactly. And that's the thing here. And then so Robert DeCosta, and I've been sharing everybody who's been coming in the chat. Hello to everybody that I shared their little comments already. Hollywood works on nepotism. Is it and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't nepotism basically just to bring in family in, your own family into work for you, or does it include close friends? Because I understood that nepotism is bringing in your own family.
Yeah, it's all about contacts over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more you suck up, the better your chances are.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the chair, the famous couch, the
well, that too.
Yeah, well, that happened a while ago too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Well,
of them, the one who prepared the couch, she has a Star Wars show coming up. Leslie
Ooh.
Headland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to
Good
answer your
choice, Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question, Laura, that is the case in practice nowadays about
Right.
nepotism. Usually we're talking about relatives, but also it can also be associated with favoritism and other stuff, but also could be look at who her husband is.
Yeah, exactly. And the point is here is that, and we're all coming into this with a very open mind and looking at like what I've said before is, as a background investigator, if you can't share proof of the source that you gave me, I can't take that as evidence. And that's how it is. So if you're going to come to me and say, oh yeah, my sources said, but I can't really tell you who them because I got to keep their identity secret. Okay, well then that you can just make that shit up, right? If you don't share that source with me, right? Because then I'm like looking at you like, oh well, maybe you are right, but most likely I have to look at you like you're wrong, because if you can't prove your source, then that has no validity to it. I can't.
No,
That.
if you can't prove the source, it's just speculation, really.
Right. I know.
Which is fine,
Mhm.
it's okay to speculate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And not only that, as a historian, I'll also say not only is something invalid if you can't cite your source, like if I were to try to write a paper and not cite my source, it wouldn't go anywhere. But also another way that you can confirm certain things is by happenings, by actions, by events. So if
Mhm.
Kathleen Kennedy was going to be fired and she was fired, then we could perhaps say that the sources were right, but she has never been fired yet. How many
Right.
times has this woman been absolutely she's going to be fired?
Oh, for like
Yeah.
7, 8 years, because we're almost going on the 10 years now, right? So
Yeah, she's using cheat codes.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's here's the thing. If there is a source or two or three at Lucasfilm that's
Mhm.
leaking information, right?
Mhm.
Why would that person risk his or her job and career to leak information to small YouTube channels? Why not leak it to bigger sites that might actually pay the person?
Mhm.
It's weird, risking your career
Or just
so
go to
that
a valid
small
news.
YouTubers might get more views. That's
Mhm.
it's not exactly a smart move. It's short-sighted, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd leak it to Screen Rant or some other dumbass source, but at least it's a big one.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah, like I
website,
said,
rather.
go to a news source and leak your sources, or even Hollywood news source, because that's where everything happens at, right? And
Yeah.
so here we go. So I mean, I'm not surprised at all whatsoever. Am I happy? Not really, but I haven't been happy since they got rid of and decanonized the EU. And how do I feel about this? I don't feel anything about, other than, maybe I'm like, huh, I told you so kind of thing. But I mean, that's just the condescending part of me, I guess you could say, if I put those words right. But
I'm
I
you
don't
know
know.
what? I enjoy bashing it when they screw up the continuity with the movies,
Right.
but because it's so obvious sometimes. But
Mhm.
when it comes to the EU, I think of it as a separate thing,
Yeah.
because the 6 movies and the EU, that's my Star Wars bubble, right?
Yeah.
And I very rarely compare Disney Star Wars to the EU unless they're ripping it off,
Mhm.
right? Because then you can see that, the people that were so creative aren't that creative,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I'm glad that they never they never did did movies based on the EU or something under Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm glad that never happened, really,
Right.
and I don't want it to happen. Want let the
Mhm.
EU be its own thing. It's
Yeah, that ship
perfectly
sailed
fine.
a long, long time ago. The time to do anything based on the EU, would have been right after, say, Revenge of the Sith. And there was even talk at the time about doing a really cool animated movie, since you had the actors who could do the voices, but were obviously too old. That ship has passed. And I want to make this clear also, that just because perhaps I may say a few things about questioning people's sources, I'm not questioning anyone's integrity or their right to say whatever they want to say or to entertain their fellow YouTubers. I mean, go for it. I don't want that to be misconstrued.
It's kind of weird when people just go, take this with a grain of salt. So okay, I take it with a grain of salt. Then they lose their minds.
Yeah. Right.
Which is kind of, I just did what you told me to.
Yeah. I guess I'm just trying to say that I don't want to speak for YouTube, but certainly myself, we're not coming at it from any sort of malice or anything like that. Do you? Everyone has a right to do you. And if you're happy doing it, more power to you. On the other hand, as I've said, I'm a historian. I will look at different sources and events and analyze that. I think that we have every right to do so. And people even listening to this chat or out there has every right to disagree with what I said about Kathleen Kennedy doing a very good job in saving Star Wars. Yeah, let's change my mind. Let's do it.
You know,
she didn't save it. She just made the numbers point upward.
Okay, what I mean is, well, you know what I mean? I was saying it from a certain point of view. She turned it around. She didn't really save Star Wars. Star Wars is gone. Star Wars ended with George Lucas. That's the George Lucas era, in my opinion. But what I'm saying is she turned it around and made some very good decisions that have Star Wars definitely looking up. That was the context.
Yeah.
But again,
I kind of pointed it out last year that with everyone praising The Mandalorian and stuff, it's going to make Kathleen Kennedy look good. Because she's the producer on it, and it's gonna backfire. I'm not saying it's not okay to like The Mandalorian. By all means, if you enjoy it, watch it. But don't complain about Kennedy if you do, because she's the one who produced it. She gave it to you,
right? And that's the whole point that I've been pointing out lately is that, and then her interview on the American Guild Association or whatever it's called. She, like I said earlier, she works on everything, and she's like, this is controversial, but I'm the type of producer likes to get involved, and that's including the shows. And I'm like, and then everybody's reporting, and they again, like Ms. Muses says, you have the right to speak and report what you want, whether it's true or not. You have that right. Do you, right? Do you? And but they failed to listen to that portion of the video where she states that she works on everything. And so again, that gives her credit to the success, even credit to failures, but there's a lot of success than failures right now. And everybody's hyped up for these coming shows, right? We do have Patty Jenkins stepping away because quote unquote our busy schedule. And so Rogue Squadron is like canceled or pushed back indefinitely right now. And does that mean that Kennedy's gone? No, it just means that they're choosing not to produce that right now. And could it be because of the pandemic and some theaters are still having trouble, opening and stuff? Because there's some businesses that closed down now because they couldn't pick up from where they used to be before the pandemic, so.
And they're putting everything into this Obi-Wan Kenobi thing. And while I have grave reservations about this, I can say that most normies and even casual Star Wars fans and maybe even Star Wars fans are going to be very excited, and they're going to want to see Ewan McGregor, and they're going to be tuning in, and it's going to be big. And with Darth Vader being back in there, the merch, I mean, even now, even though Darth Vader hasn't appeared since Revenge of the Sith, you can
No, he was on Rebels. Dave Filoni turned Darth Vader into a retard on Rebels. In Disney canon, he's dumber than shit.
Just like Thrawn is.
Okay, relatively speaking. But, the big thing, they've had all these new characters. Mandalorian, Baby Yoda. But you can go into any school, especially an elementary school still, and you will see Darth Vader merch everywhere. They know who Darth Vader is. They love him. They love him and Baby Yoda. So bringing back Darth Vader into this is going to be huge. I'm saying it now.
Here's the thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's where people's thinking seems to stop, because they get to see Darth Vader on the screen, right? That's it. They don't seem to think further than that, because according to the sequel trilogy, which is Disney canon, Anakin and Vader never mattered. It was Rey Palpatine was the chosen one.
Yeah.
So if you put Vader on screen, you're getting to see your old action figure. That's it. The character in it is actually pointless in the grand scheme of things. Now, all he did was basically set the Sith back 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because Palpatine was alive again 5 minutes after Anakin supposedly killed them.
Right.
Yep.
Right, exactly. And let's go ahead and take a browse through this article real quick. And I didn't have to really pay for this. It's like you can access this and read it in your entirety in the description below. I did share it. So no worry about paying for or going through a paywall.
Yeah, this is a free site.
Yeah, this is a free site. I would not pay for these guys for their content, really. Okay,
Wow.
Star Wars boss Kathleen Kennedy reportedly signs a new contract at Lucasfilm. So they said a new contract, basically, and what it is that they're saying it's the renewal or, continuing her path as president of Lucasfilm at close. It doesn't want to close. All right. So everything changed for Star Wars in 2012. Once renowned for being an independent company, Lucasfilm, and that was the beauty of George Lucas. He didn't really want to be involved with Hollywood. So here we are. Now it's involved with Hollywood. So it's went from his vision to now being that way. He sold it. He knew he was selling it too, but he didn't quite expect everything to happen the way they happened. So, so seller's remorse is probably what he's experienced, probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So,
he's pretty much said it, hasn't he? And even Bob Iger said it in his what was it, the memoirs?
Yeah,
he basically admitted that they lied to George.
Exactly. And yeah, he sold it, and he knew he was selling it, and he knew that he was going to sell it to keep Star Wars out there for the fans, because the fans love it so well. And he was done with it. He wanted to stay with his family. He wanted to work on separate projects. We know the whole history of that. We've spoken about it many times. So Lucasfilm was acquired by Disney. Of course, we know all of that. And of course, that Kennedy was handpicked by George himself. At the time, then the Disney CEO Bob Iger announced that the Star Wars sequel trilogy would begin development with the spin-off films to intersect. So they had these huge plans. They seen money signs too of what George created, because the fans loved what he created, and they're like, oh, we can make a lot of money off of it, because fans will just eat it up because of the name Star Wars. What do you think about that? Do you think that's some truth?
It's basically Disney bought the logo, which is what other corporations, I guess, do. It happens in the gaming industry all the time.
Yep.
Electronic Arts keeps buying up smaller companies for their IPs.
Yeah.
Then they pour out rushed products just to capitalize on the franchise, really. And then later on, it gets shut down because people stop buying it because it turns to shit. Electronic Arts has done it to probably it's more than 10 now, I think. Great video game developers. And it's Disney's no different, and it's no wonder that Disney has EA making the Star Wars games either, because they're the same kind of company.
Yeah. And they barely brought back a form of LucasArts. I think in the original name before it became LucasArts, in a sense. So, yeah. And so basically they say in this article right here in this little section here, like, all the spin-off, the movies or whatever, one would think that Disney Star Wars is thriving. But then they go on to say that the franchise has been nothing but embroiled in controversy.
This is correct.
Right. And then fan and actor reception to the sequel trilogy was mixed by and large. Rogue Squadron and Solo have been embraced by diehards. Oh, well,
that's not true. Especially not with Solo.
No.
Yeah.
That one
Rogue
was not
Squad-
embraced by diehards at all.
No. Rogue Squadron was probably the most favorably received from a lot of people, but not Solo.
Solo
what?
fell victim to what happened with The Last Jedi and people saying we're not watching anything else. So that was one stance of like not closing the wallets. But then when you do hear people talk about Solo, and this is probably very casual fans in the sense like moviegoers that don't know like Han Solo trilogy and stuff and his origins to that, they liked it.
Yeah, and when it comes to another big factor I think in Solo is that you can't replace Harrison Ford.
No.
You know, Harrison Ford is Han Solo. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones.
Right.
You know, it's Stallone as well. Stallone is Rambo. Stallone is Rocky.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, they embodied those characters in a sense.
Yeah.
Like right. So it's hard to disassociate them from the actual. Now, like
But,
Anthony,
you know, so Solo though,
Uh-huh.
if it wasn't a Star Wars movie, you know, remove the logo, remove the Star Wars stuff, and the names, it would have been an okay space heist movie,
right?
You know,
I
but
think I've seen it before.
as a Star Wars movie, it's not good. It's really not good, and they had Lando sleep with droids basically. Or
Yeah.
And
he
Chewie
said he
and
did.
Solo, Chewie and Solo showering together. That was just
Yeah. Well, and it was also ill-conceived on so many different levels, not just because what Stig said about Harrison Ford, but this is a character that they killed and killed like a punk.
Yeah, right off the bat they killed him, which was I actually gave them a chance though, Disney, when they got rid of the EU and they said they were going to do better and there was going to be full continuity, and I was like, okay, I'll give you a chance. And I watched the Force Awakens, and Harrison Ford was excellent in that movie. It was like he never left the Falcon, in my opinion. But and then like I could see his death coming a long way though, because it didn't take me long to realize, that they're rehashing A New Hope, and Harrison Ford is basically Obi-Wan in this. So when he went out on that bridge to talk to Kylo, I was like, okay, bye Han Solo. You know, that's
exactly. But also, they killed him before they killed him by jaking him a little bit, by making him leave Leia and all that kind of stuff.
And what's her name? Claudia Gray.
Yes.
Really defaced the character in the novels, but having him, wasn't it her who had him steal Luke's medal from A New Hope and sell it for booze?
Right, I think it was her, because I think
Han Solo would never do that.
No, he had integrity,
and he left his family even before he left his family to be a racer or something. It was just so ridiculous.
It doesn't even fit, because if Han is turning into I guess a deadbeat and a drinker, why isn't he a deadbeat and a drinker in episode 7 then?
Right.
You know, he seems perfectly fine in that one.
Yeah, he seemed like he just was like pre A New Hope, just right before A New Hope. It's like they reset him, but then in between they made him into this they just transformed his character where he's not recognizable. Yeah.
Keep in mind though, this article is still an article. It's not 100% confirmed,
Yeah, exactly. It's not 100% confirmed. This is opinion as well. And so I'll say this, take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah. And if you take it with a grain of salt, we're not going to attack you for it either.
Right, exactly. I'm not here to say people who believe otherwise and don't think like I do or believe she's gone or whatever. I'm not going to bash you and say that you're intellectually dishonest or dimwit or whatever. Take it, like I said, take what we shared with you, come to your own conclusion, and sit back and see what happens. Because how I see this is that if there's no announcement for her successor, Usually there is, because it's such a high position, right? And it's Star Wars, it's Disney, Lucasfilm, or Lucasfilm. They're going to announce a successor, right? They will announce that once they have that. That time has already passed. They're not going to leave a job open. If they leave it open and don't sign her contract, she's still in that position until her contract's signed again. That's how that works.
Yeah, precisely.
And that's how that works.
And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to eat my words.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
Okay, I'm wrong.
here's the thing: if Kathleen Kennedy gets fired, right? Let's say she gets fired tomorrow. They've had enough of her, and blah blah blah. Who's going to replace her? And even if she's replaced, how are they going to fix a decade of bad Star Wars? Disney's not going to decanonize everything. You know, the damage is done. No.
Yeah, exactly. And then Qui-Gon Gamilli says, I think this is a rumor. If KK was resigned, her camp would be blowing up the Twitter, or basically probably social media by now, and all the trades would have officially, official announcements. Until Disney officially announces it, I won't believe it. Yeah, so take it, like I said, until there's official announcement. Like I said, the successor, because it's such a high-paying position and it's a critical position under Lucasfilm, that's something that they would announce. Oh, the successor is so-and-so. We are welcomed and Kennedy has served well, blah, 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 blah. They would have made that formal announcement, maybe even before her contract is up.
Well, didn't they have like a meeting for the shareholders or something this summer? And Bob Chapek was asked if they were going to fire Kathleen Kennedy, and he said no, because she was doing a great job or whatever.
Yeah, they were very happy with what she was doing.
Yeah, that's what he said. Granted, it could be lying, but it's like, it's weird that they're all only lying when it suits a certain point of view, though.
That's what I was going to get to, is that when that was reported, you would, people who are, are adamant that she's gone and she's out and whatever, and has been slandered, and even the EU fanatics and others who don't agree, they were like, oh no, he just had to speak that way because, he was under pressure, or that, he just had to be cordial and show that there's nothing wrong because blah, 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 blah.
Which could be the case, but we've seen no evidence of it.
Right.
You need to back it up too.
Exactly.
Otherwise it's just headcanon.
Just like they say that she's only responsible for the High Republic and the Disney's trilogy, and everything else is not her project. And because of those projects are not well received, that means she needs to be out. And then again, go watch that video of her interview for the American Guild or Producers Guild Association, or whatever it's called. She does say that she's involved with everything, producing even the Disney Plus series that are coming out.
Yeah, and Favreau himself said that he went and talked with Kathy about the direction of The Mandalorian, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. So
there's a video from 2019 when she's being interviewed, and she's saying that she and the story group are heavily involved with The Mandalorian. So I don't know. She could be lying. I don't trust her. But
but why would she lie about something like that when But I mean,
and it's not odd for the person that's in charge of the company to be involved with what they're producing. It's like that's 1 and 1 equals 2.
Right. Right, exactly. So let's go ahead and read through this article just a little bit. We're just going to browse through this because I'm curious about this article as well. I did browse through it before we began. So basically they say as have the live action and animated, so they're saying that's well received. If everyone forgets the resistance existed. Now, everybody will not, a lot of people who are especially Filoni fans, like diehard fans, they will not reference this as his project because of how bad it was received.
Yeah, but I think he wasn't that involved in it.
Yeah.
As he was with the Clone Wars and Rebels.
The Clone Wars, he was, But when you look on that too, there are some things that he did not even write at all with the Clone Wars. You have to go through history and stuff like that.
It's Rebels more so than the Clone Wars contradicted the movies just as bad as the sequel trilogy did.
Yeah. So there's that little tack, and we could talk all day about that, but we're going to move on. Yet there's been nothing but constant bickering among the fan base and internal turmoil at Lucasfilm. Oh, internal turmoil. Now, I think that I find it funny that, and it's probably just, I also find it a little bit sad that, we went through all these closures. So of course, like Disney, the company itself, is going to see some, some earning drops and some backlash from even closing down and following mandates and all that stuff, so they're going to have losses, a lot of losses. And that's even with Lucasfilm. But I feel like a lot of people are associating those losses like over the pandemic and having to close down the parks and, and all this other stuff, and having no real movie releases because theaters are shut down, and going to Disney Plus and all this other stuff, that they're just associating that to Kennedy. And so I think there's a lot of underlying factors other than, what Kennedy may or may not have done.
Yeah. Oh, a conservative eagle has a question for me.
Okay, go ahead.
You highlighted it.
Oh, it's right there. Sorry.
Yeah. Where do you see Disney Star Wars in 10 years? Will people stop caring by then? You know what? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm not going to watch Disney Star Wars unless something extreme happens where they actually fix things. I don't see how they can do that now. But as far as I'm concerned, Disney and Star Wars, or rather Disney Star Wars, can just crash and burn.
Yeah. And then Trey Courtney says she's only staying for Indy 5. I saw that one. We don't know exactly if that's what's happening. She's president of Lucasfilm, so that's one of another speculation.
Well, she got supposedly she got a 3-year contract extension. It shouldn't take 3 years for Indiana Jones to get done. But she's also the producer on, I think, all of the Disney Plus shows.
Yes.
Yeah, she is.
So, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, okay, so she's producer for a lot, like all of Disney Plus shows. We can probably say, and we could, it might be a safe bet to even say that Disney Plus is something that's under her. We don't know exactly who in the company said, oh, let's do a online streaming service, But the thing is,
who's gonna succeed her? I'm gonna scare the shit out of people. When Kathleen Kennedy finally leaves, the one who's gonna take her place is Leslie Headland. Think about that one. Think about that one and have nightmares.
Yeah.
Because that's the dumbest thing they could do, which is probably why they're gonna do it, because they keep doing the dumbest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That's oh god, that's sad. I don't know. I just say, Star Wars fans, like especially for the George Lucas or Disney Lucasfilm faction era, whatever you want to call it, just brace yourself. And I've noticed, and we've talked about that among ourselves and stuff, but Disney Star Wars or Disney Lucasfilm doesn't really specialize in maintaining continuity like the previous, like George Lucas era.
No.
And we've been seeing that. And to them, it's not a big deal. Even what that, what was it, Matt Martin or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the story group guy.
Mm-hmm.
He even said continuity doesn't matter. The guy whose job it is to keep continuity.
Right.
Yeah. It's not a priority as long as they tell the little stories they want to tell and make money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, put those member berries in and all that, because that's what hypes fans. So
they're
what?
At least the guy's honest.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what they want to do, fine. But then the people who like it should accept it too.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I think we're seeing that with Kenobi, because a lot of people will move the goalposts with continuity eras that's being done towards the movies, right? So they'll move that goalpost to say, oh, well, if it's a dream or if it's this and that, then it's not going to blah, blah, blah. They may be right. But the thing is that they are the exact fans that Matt Martin is catering to when it comes to storytelling and stuff like that. And I mean, if they're going to be their little secret sauce and making the company now and writing shows and stuff, and they like it, then more power to them. I got into Star Wars because of the continuity, because of the like how it was establishing history and how one thing was tied to another, even with just a little tiny thread. That's what I got in. That's another main reason why I got into the EU, because it all, not seamlessly, but near that, there still was contradictions. There still was like things that had to be retconned, because as the company started growing, it's hard to keep track of all of that information, right?
Yeah, and in Indy 5 got delayed to 2023. Correct.
Yes.
We're almost in 2022 though.
Yeah, and not the production per se, but when it's going to air. That's the thing. That's what they said.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, but also keep in mind,
and we don't know when in 2023.
Let's just say she got a 3-year extension, and yes, that's kind of be the end of it and all that. It's starting to make sense that she's getting close to where George Lucas would have been in age, and maybe the woman wants to retire. When she's not going to be fired from Lucasfilm, she is going to retire when she chooses to, and the idea that even if she leaves, or even if this happened, well, if that happened, it will somehow erase everything and we'll go back to the way Star Wars was before George sold Lucasfilm. I think it is a lesson in self-frustration. You're just going to be frustrated. You're going to be mad. If you want to watch this stuff and enjoy it, that's the only way to do it. But if you're watching it with the hope that it's more than some entertainment, that this is going to save everything and replace everything, I think in 10 years, you're just going to find yourself incredibly, incredibly bitter.
Yeah, disappointed.
Yeah. Just watch the crap you like. But, don't tell people it has great continuity when it obviously doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And then Christopher Barker says, I bought New Jedi Order, Enemy Lines 1, Rebel Dreams at my bookstore for $1. No Legends label, and damn, near brand new in term of condition.
Yeah, those books are awesome.
Yes, they are.
I wish I could read that series again for the first time, but sadly, you can only experience it the first time once, right?
Right.
So now it's a little bit of a chore to reread it because it's 19 books.
Yeah.
But eventually I probably will.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good series. 19-book series.
That was a very good Star Wars period when they started the new Jedi Order, and you were having great video games at the same time. Star Wars could do no wrong at that time, really.
And
that's when we had the Clone Wars comics too. The Republic ones. So Quinlan Voss, Ayla Secura, New Jedi Order. You had the Call Katarn games were peaking at the time as well, and we had Knights of the Old Republic. It was utterly awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where my heart stays and stuff, and that's what this channel's about and stuff. So like I said, I don't think her leaving or staying is going to change anything, just like Stig said, and even Ms. Muses said before. So don't give your hopes up.
It's 10 years of content, like it or hate it. I don't see a company like Disney scrapping 10 years of stuff.
Yeah. And they do have
they might slap a label on it though. Or make a different timeline, what have you. I don't think Star Wars should have a different timeline.
Yeah.
Because it was never designed to be. Same with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But this is a shit timeline though, isn't it? Holy crap.
Oh gosh.
No, we're seeing a lot of our beloved IPs and fantasies and what have you slowly being converted into something that's not really relatable or even as it used to be, and that's the sad part about that. So it's not Star Wars, and maybe Star Trek probably was the first warning sign that hardly anybody heeded, right? And then along came Star Wars, and we started seeing that. Now we're getting to Lord of the Rings, and we're starting to see that, and it's disheartening. It truly is. But I highlighted this point right here after they said that, there's turmoil in the fan base and at Lucasfilm. they basically say overseeing all of this is Kathleen Kennedy, and they are right. She is overseeing the company, and that includes, even the Disney Plus material. Everything fruitions under her. Everything is her project because she's producer and she's overseeing everything. And I think people miss that point.
And has there been any evidence of inner turmoil at Lucasfilm? I've not seen any evidence. I've just seen people claim it is.
Yeah.
I've actually seen more stuff that contradicts it, to be honest. But
yeah,
I'm not saying it's a big company, though. Of course, it's going to be some inner turmoil. But then again, Kathleen Kennedy is known to fire people that disagree with her. I mean, she's fired plenty of directors for being difficult to work with. So why isn't she firing the people that have, started a civil war against her? I mean, she has the power to do so.
Yes.
And she's not been shy about it in the past. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think the only evidence of a quote unquote disagreement was with Mark Hamill being very, very blatant and those very, very tense promotional appearances before The Last Jedi. But that was not within Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Beyond that, as Stig says, it has been very consistent. They seem to be very supportive, and they've kept their jobs. Not only has Kathleen Kennedy kept her job, everyone else has, as Stig said.
Yeah, exactly. So let's look at this article here and then have some more discussion behind this, and then I'll check out what chat has to say. As Lucasfilm president, the buck stops with her. Ultimately, she's responsible when a project is a mess or success. Boom, right there.
Yeah, if she's to blame when someone does a shit product that she produced, then she's also to blame if she does, when a good product happens that she produced. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
Right. I think it's all shit, but that's just me.
Right.
Well, it's probably not just me, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and you're allowed to have that opinion and feeling about it, and and discuss it. And if people don't like it, then that's their own problem, right?
Yeah, and when did it become a crime to hold a franchise to a high standard when that's what we were used to? And that was also why they got a backlash from The Last Jedi, because it didn't follow the high standard of writing and what have you, as fans were used to. So why is it a crime now?
Right. And then it goes on to say, in recent weeks, calls for Kennedy to be removed, basically has been at a high. However, Disney appears to be doubling down on the producer, as recent word, and I like how they say just producer, as recent word suggests that her contract has been renewed for a significant amount of time. Ooh, significant. So let's see what they have to say. And there she is right there. And then Matthew Belloni, of Puck, and a former editor of Hollywood Reporter shared that Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy's contract. So they're sharing their source here. Okay. So take it with a grain of salt. Question it, basically question the validity of that, until something comes out from the company. However, like I said, if they didn't announce a successor, then more than likely she's still in there until they announce something, right? So she's still a part. Kenny's contract has been extended for another 3 years. The contract previously expired October 2021. Additionally, Belloni's insider note that Rogue Squadron is indefinitely delayed due to creative differences between Lucasfilm and director Patty Jenkins. Now, Stig, you were just addressing that. Is he with us still, or did he take off?
Okay. Yeah. Well, yes, that again, they're having differences, so they leave. So then the opposite is logical. They're not having creative differences. That's why they are still there.
Right. And so like Stig said, like she has that history of like creative differences. And mind you, if the company thinks that what they're doing and they're producing, writing and stuff doesn't fit the vision that they want to share with their clients or their customers, I guess, or whatever, if you want to call it that, the fans, they have every right to say, you know what, no, let's go ahead and bring someone else in. They have every right. Now, does it make it sound controversial? Yes, it does, because we've already seen, like with I forget their name for Solo, the solo show. I forgot the producers or the directors' names for that. That was
Lord and something, or the guys from the Lego movies.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I forgot. It's like I don't even care. Really, I'm sorry. That sounds sad, but yeah. So those two got fired, and didn't they go on to be successful with another movie after that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then the other dude with Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
They are not shy about running the company the way that they want it to be run.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
when I also noticed about that source that is saying this, he's a dude who was a former editor of the Hollywood Reporter, shared that Lucasfilm president, blah, blah, blah. That's the
Mhm.
kind of person I actually would suspect someone from Lucasfilm would be leaking to. That makes sense. That's actually an insider, a big name, someone who used to be in the Hollywood Reporter, former editor of the Hollywood Reporter.
Mm-hmm. Someone that probably will have resources, and they didn't say, "Oh, my sources," but I can't tell you who they are because I have to go protect their identity, right? You know, and yes, open air lock policy. It is being said that Kennedy's with the Disney Lucasfilm for 3 more years now. So that's what's going on here. So now you guys have something to discuss if you wish to discuss this later on. So he's like, did something happen? Yeah, something happened, and that's what we're talking about here. So,
Well, we don't know if it happened for sure.
well, I'm just saying, you know, so something did happen to bring this discussion, and that's this possible rumor or possible renewal. Like I said, if it's not announced she's gone and a successor, then more than likely she's still there. So until otherwise. So
there were a lot of sites in back in August that were reporting that her contract was going to be renewed. Actually, but
yeah,
and there was no reason for it not to be renewed. Look at everything awesome that's going on with them. This is, if you're into this is an incredibly exciting time for Disney Star Wars.
Yeah. And then I guess he has a question for me or something like that. Would Allura be less angry with how they treated Luke if in a series we see him try to reach out to Kylo before The Last Jedi? I would like the whole situation of how they regressed Luke Skywalker and took that redeeming arc away from him.
He dies from a Force overdose, which is impossible. He actually, they literally killed off Luke Skywalker with a plot hole.
Exactly. And then he's all, blah, ha, ha, ha. I'm sure it is part of Favreau's plan. There you go.
Oh, this is
4D chess.
This is great news for Filoni, though. He's I think if the shows he's a producer on and a writer on and all, if they all happen, someone said he would have produced more Star Wars than Lucas directly, though. On screen, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
wow. I think you're right.
He is Kathleen Kennedy's lapdog.
Oh yeah,
that guy prostrated himself in front of her, and she rammed hard.
Yeah, he said, just as long as I get to keep my blow up doll, Ahsoka, I mean, I'll do whatever you want, Kathleen.
And his wolf.
Disney Lucasfilm released what was it, the art for the sequel trilogy or whatever the book was called, and they have an excerpt from the meeting when they planned. I put planned in quotation marks though. When they planned the sequel trilogy, Dave Filoni was the one who came up with what they did with Luke. And they released it. It's right there on the page. He's the one who wanted Luke to be what he was in the sequel trilogy.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to save Star Wars. He's the guy who ruined it in the first place.
Oh yeah. We've seen hints of that in the beginning. We've seen hints of that. I think he has a narcissistic ego problem.
I don't know, but he tends to just
it's all about him. He wants to produce what he wants to see, despite what has come before. And I've even said that about a little bit about Timothy Zahn, because Timothy Zahn did not play well with others too.
Yeah, I think with Filoni, this is my personal opinion though. I think he just tells his employer what they want to hear, and just keeps nodding yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. And then and then open airlock. Favroni?
Favroni.
Yeah, is the shipping name.
Oh my gosh. And it's a threesome when they bring in the blow up doll and the wolves. Oh, wait, that's a quadruple sum.
And we went down that path. And the thing is, okay, so I was listening to some bits about what happened with and I watched with the announcement of Disney Plus Day, and they announced a lot of projects with Marvel, a lot of new shows, and hardly anything that's going on with Lucasfilm. And a lot of people took that as oh, Kennedy's out once more. My thing is that they only announced the things that are going to be that are brand new that's coming out, right? And the year before, there's a lot more Disney or Lucasfilm content coming out. That's why we've seen the announcement for Disney Plus Day with a majority of Lucasfilm Star Wars projects coming out. This year, there's only a couple. And that's why they're only announced. They're not going to re-announce Mandalorian season 3 or whatever, because it's already a happening show. The purpose of Disney Plus announcement day is to announce the new stuff that's coming out. And we only have 2 new things coming out so far because they didn't put Rogue Squadron on there because it got canceled, basically. Mm-hmm. But because Obi-Wan Kenobi series coming out and the Book of Boba Fett, of course, those were on there. Those are brand spanking new. And so I think there's a difference. I don't think people realize that. And they run with, because they only announced a couple things with the Lucasfilm Star Wars, that means Kennedy's out. And that's not the truth there. It just means that those are only things that are coming out for that IP this year so far. So, and that's just how I see that. So, and that's the direction I see that going and stuff. So, and I find it funny that, anything that is going on that gives someone to jump on the bandwagon, that means she's out. I don't think they see the bigger picture with everything. Or maybe they're just misunderstanding, or maybe there's maybe that they see it as hope. I don't know. I can't explain
Wishful thinking. I mean, the sun rising right now is sign that Kathleen Kennedy's gone. A cat meows. That must mean Kathleen Kennedy's gone.
It's good for views. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And disclaimer, not that there's anything wrong with that. You do you, everybody.
I've just noticed that everyone who touts that narrative is being hailed as having great insight, even when they're dead wrong 100% of the time.
Yeah. And we have Lady Toriel here. Hello, darling. Look at
the best elf to ever sit in an X-Wing.
Yes, there we go. I'm an X-Wing player. I'm cool. Yes, you are.
Yes.
My Miss Darth Toriel. She transformed on my Talking EU with Abu Nas.
I know it's so weird though, because she's so sweet. I'm trying to imagine her as a Sith Lord elf.
You will when she plants an axe in you.
Oh.
Oh dear me.
Yeah, Stig ran with that one. But yeah, I thought that was intriguing, and it just gives her all more depth too. So as long as we, accept her and think like her and stuff, we are fine. And dealing absolutes. No. Oh my God. Richard Reader, Star Wars isn't the only franchise they destroyed for political reasons. Yeah, we talked about that. Star Trek, Doctor Who, James Bond, the list is endless. And that's what we're seeing. And the more you decide, and this is just how I see it, the more you decide to, say, okay, well, if we show them and by purchasing what we like, what they're doing with the IP, then we're going to save Star Wars. They're going to change direction. No, they're not.
No, you're just giving them money for the Star Wars they are making.
Right.
But you know what, though? The same thing is happening with Marvel. And, the upcoming Predator movie as well. So it's a Disney thing rather than Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy is doing exactly what Disney's telling her to do, really.
Yep.
They're all on the same page. Marvel is going beyond woke. And the new Predator movie seems to have ripped off a fan film.
Yes. So, and not to mention what they're about to do to the Wheel of Time and the Lord of the Rings.
That's Amazon.
Oh, but that too. I'm just saying in general, it's not, I'm just saying the whole air they're breathing out there in California is everyone being on the same team.
Yeah,
Well, no,
we're
I'm breathing
seeing.
the same air in California, and I'm not on their team.
Well, but you're on a well.
I'm in a different place. Yes.
Yeah, I was about ready to say you're in a special place there, so they
Yeah.
filter it.
What we're seeing though is the result of the participation trophy generation.
Yeah, and we were
Because
discussing that last night after my yoga retreat with one of my teachers I brought in from San Luis Obispo area near where I live at. And she's a English professor for Cal Poly, and we were kind of discussing that same situation. Yeah. So it's good to know that there's professors out there like, this new generation is like crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So all right, so let's see here. And Wild Katarn says, it's the sweet, quiet ones you have to worry about. And they're talking about Darth Lady Toriel, the elf. So,
that is true.
And I'm just loving this because she's just enjoying this. It's like, it's fun to see her enjoying this. Yes, yes. And let's see. I'm going to just go a little bit further in this article, and then we'll just call it quits on this. Because like I said, they name their source, right? And so they're running with that. They're also running with, like what they see on social media, which they can, it's their article, their news page, right? So basically, Disney minus day was minus instead of plus day. I see what you did there. By all accounts, yet another embarrassment for the franchise. The event intended to get fans excited about upcoming projects and entice others to subscribe to their stream platform, displayed unseen levels of marketing ineptitude. So I don't know if you two followed that. I did. I went and then just watched a little bit and stuff like that, and seen what they discussed and seen what they are bringing out. And that's why I came to the conclusion, like, they're only announcing what's coming up for this coming year. They're not going to announce projects that are already happening because they already happened. They were already announced last year. So that's how I see that. So like, that's why we only see a few bits of like Lucasfilm announcements for, Disney Plus and stuff, because that's the only thing that's coming out right now. So
for sure. Yeah. No, I didn't watch it. I'd rather rip out my intestines with a fork.
Oh, geez.
You know what? If people want this to go away, stop paying for it. That's it. Stop giving them clout too, which is actually what we are doing. It really negative clout, but still.
Yeah. We're just discussing that thing that's being discussed right now, and trying to make sense and trying to like offer and give people something to think about, really. Yeah. And that's what I like to do, is give people something to think about, like take both sides and like come to their conclusion.
Yeah, I have a controversial opinion. Sorry.
If you disagree, that's okay.
Go for it.
Just back it up though.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't really care one way or another if it goes away or not. To me, it died a long, long time ago, and I just see it all as fan fiction.
Yeah, you know what? Disney Star Wars is all about nostalgia, because they're just showing off your old action figures in every show. But because they don't have anything else. But here's the thing: with some people, they have confused nostalgia with necrophilia.
Oof. Okay.
That's a metaphor, by the way. I'm not saying they're actually necrophiliacs, but
yeah, you have to give a disclaimer for everything nowadays.
Yeah, because they'll take it literally. They'll take it literally.
Just because Disney's beating a dead horse doesn't mean it's okay for you to fuck it.
And there goes my channel. There goes this. And then Tommy says, stop watching trash from companies that hate you. You have a good point, sir.
Yeah. No, it's really hard not to give money to companies that hate you. If you go see a sport, if you turn on TV, if you breathe some air, if you try to walk across the street, all those companies hate us. Everyone hates us, but I'm okay.
They could go ahead and hate me. I don't give a shit.
I don't give a rat's rear end.
They don't make no impact in my life, really. I can go on with not watching their content and stuff like that and enjoying what I have in front of me. That's fine. More power to them. And they are basically serving who they want to serve. And they've even said that the Star Wars that we're producing is not for the old generation. It's for the new. And so that's what they're setting up. And that's what like anti-EU people or anti-George Lucas era or whatever you want to call them and like to throw on us is like, it's not made for you, so go in and just enjoy your books or whatever. I'm going to enjoy more content than you. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Brie Larson. Sure. Yeah, let's go for that. It's being made for all the kids that are right now at school wearing their Baby Yoda t-shirts.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And they can enjoy wearing their Baby Yoda t-shirts. That's fine. I'm not going to bash you otherwise. It just shows that, no matter, there's always going to be in a company, there's always going to be something that succeeds and something that fails, right? There's always going to be that. And, does it mean that firing's going to happen? Maybe. But we just have to wait and see. And like I said before, and it's like maybe my 5th time saying this, until there's official announcement of a successor and the contract renewal, then she's still in there. They're going to keep her until that contract's renewed, right? Because they need to fill that position. So there you go. And that's just how contracts work in general. Like I've worked for a big company as a background investigator. I know like if the contract is pushed back, they still have to keep the person until it's yay or nay on the renewal.
Well, Tommy, why did you have to mention the feet?
He mentioned feet.
About Brie Larson, and then he goes, the feet compel you.
Oh my God, I forgot all about that. I forgot all about that. Tommy, you sick of guinea pig, you. And then Richard Greeter, the only thing that SJWs haven't touched is Japan animation.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
They're doing the Cowboy Bebop thing. That's based. It's a live action show based on Japanese animation. And they've done woke shit based, with live action adaptations of Japanese animation before. So it's coming.
It's coming. Okay, so basically it just covers everything that's been happening with, like the Rogue Squadron is being taken or replaced with, Old Republic. I guess that's the rumor, like movie or whatever coming out. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't really pay attention, so I can't say anything on that.
Hey, Stig, could you say your theory about what's going on with this Old Republic?
The Old Republic game?
No, not the Old Republic game, and how it's tying in with one of our favorite people.
They're rewriting the game. They've confirmed this. They're rewriting the story of the game to fit it with Disney canon.
Yeah, and then
what they're gonna do, and I'm feeling very confident about this. The Force bond that Bastila and Revan has, they're gonna have it be a dyad.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, it's fairly obvious, isn't it?
Oh my God!
And then
I might be wrong, but it's not a bad bet, is it?
No.
And then you told me a theory about a certain director's trilogy.
Oh yeah, that's just something I thought of because I looked up Rian Johnson on IMDb. Granted, it's not a safe source.
Yeah.
But it had popped up that he's a writer for an unnamed Star Wars trilogy. It says he's the writer on it. It's in his writing credits. You can look it up. So with the writing of KOTOR, I'm thinking if Rian Johnson trilogy happens, it's going to be a set in the KOTOR era, because when they basically announced it back in the day, he said that trilogy would take place in a time period that hadn't been seen on screen before, and it would have nothing to do with the Skywalkers. So it kind of fits, and he's barely done anything in the last 2 years since Knives Out happened.
Yeah.
And he is, I think Knives Out 2 is in pre or post production now, something like that. Then there's pretty much nothing on his plate.
Yeah.
After that, so he has time, and if he has been writing his trilogy, he's basically had 2 years where he's done absolutely nothing except maybe write.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope this doesn't happen though. But it was just something I thought about. Just because it struck me that he did say it wouldn't have anything to do with the Skywalkers in that time period.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that.
yeah,
And
it was just well,
Yeah.
take it with a big barrel of salt, really. But it was just me kind of.
You're spreading a lot of salt around. You kind of remind me of some other channels. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm joking.
But it kind of
But
makes sense.
it
Yeah.
kind of does, sadly.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. It's just it's like what I said when it comes to Disney,
Mm-hmm.
and well, Disney Star Wars. Really, the dumbest thing they could possibly do is usually what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that? They killed off Han, Luke, and Leia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the dumbest shit you can do. They took Lando, who's the womanizer of the galaxy, and had him shag basically a toaster just to promote some, gender pronoun politics.
Mm-hmm.
They made him a droid effer.
Yeah.
Right. And then so Christopher Barker says, it would be funny if Ahsoka dies in her own show. It's not going to happen.
Filoni doesn't kill off his hero characters.
Yeah.
Well, he killed off Kanan, but that was just a rip-off called Katarn.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a blow-up doll of him.
Yeah, I hope not.
He needs his girlfriend.
Girl, if he did, I mean, oh my God, that's really getting into your characters and your lores, like experiencing them firsthand.
Method acting.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
you won't go down that path.
If Rian Johnson's trilogy happens and it is a KOTOR trilogy,
mm-hmm.
I announced it. So, sorry.
He's like,
I hope I'm wrong though. It was just me thinking.
And just putting some of the pieces together that makes sense.
Yeah. I was putting the pieces together into something that might possibly happen that I don't want to happen.
Right. Yeah. Especially for those who love Knights of the Old Republic, like Andrew here. I pray I'm right that that's not going to happen, and I think Stig is with you on that. He's just putting logic behind that and kind of seeing like it could possibly be something. Yeah. Hopefully, it's not.
It's basically me trying to make sense of a what if.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's a theory based on everything that Rian Johnson has said, because he's been very insistent that it is still happening, and he doesn't want to make an Egypt of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we heard about the Knights of the Old Republic stuff, it makes sense. But as Stig said, it's a theory. He's not saying he has a source.
No sources behind it. Just what I remembered from interviews and stuff. And I noticed that thing on IMDb. It's like Star Wars trilogy, unnamed, written by.
Yeah.
So if IMDb could have made a mistake. They do that often, but it said written by. So.
Yeah, exactly. Written by. And who knows, what if they had all the stuff that they're doing already planned out, even though we know that the Disney trilogy really didn't have a direction or plan, right? Because you could tell it's like the trilogy doesn't even is not seamless like, the other two trilogies are. So that's evident. But what if, and this is another what if kind of speculation theory or whatever you want to call it. What if they did have a direction like after they killed off the Skywalkers? Okay, so we want to bring that era of the Old Republicans since we're going to do High Republic.
The Old Republic won't even make sense because of the High Republic.
Like we said before, like Matt Martin says, they don't care about continuity and canon, really. So that's like that little loophole. That's at that little loophole that allows them to go anywhere without having to really maintain continuity or have things make sense. As long as they're giving the label out to people and characters out to people for the member berries and they're making money from it, I don't think they care. I honestly don't.
I think the Filoni is obviously going to rip off the Thrawn trilogy. That's pretty much a given. And he's started setting it up by showing off Mount Tantus and stuff, though. I think the clones that they find in the Throne trilogy that are basically in stasis.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be the Bad Batch.
Mm.
And I think Luke's role in the Disney Throne trilogy is going to be played by Ahsoka, and I think Wedge is going to be pushed aside for Poe. That's just my, gut feeling on it.
Who would be like Han and Leia? Just Han and Leia themselves?
Yeah, they're gonna have
To be pregnant with Kylo or Ben, because during that time frame she is pregnant with them. Almost.
Well, isn't she pregnant with Ben during the Mandalorian?
I know that she had him at 5 years after Endor, so that'd be 9.
Yeah, that's when the Mandalorian takes place. So
But that's
fast forward a few years, you could have Sabayoth's role could be replaced by Snoke.
Right, and then
he
that's when
starts influencing Kylo instead of trying to capture Jason and Jaina.
Right, yeah.
Because that's what they do. They just swap it around.
Yeah.
Replace.
Ooh, and like we're all cringing. I can hear your cringe.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Keep in mind, though, this is just speculation. This is just
we're doing what ifs right here. If we're going down that rabbit hole,
Oh my god! I'm sorry, I just read a comment. I don't know if you want to highlight Vertical Horizons.
I don't know which one it is.
Baby Yoda will be the. Hey, if that happens, so help me.
Well, it's probably just because Han and Leia touched fingertips. That seems to be what creates children in Disney Star Wars. So
that's odd. That's really odd. Okay, and then Qui-Gon Jinn. If they make a Couture movie, they will probably try to tie it into High Republic. Well, yeah, but it would be difficult. They would have to significantly change a lot,
which they already have. And they don't have to explain it either.
Yeah,
because they don't.
No, they don't. They don't. They don't. I mean, they have every right to change and make the changes and stuff, because it is our IP. But the thing that, the thing like with myself and others who really got really deep into the Star Wars lore pre-buyout and stuff, it's like dishonest because they said, "Oh, we're going to get rid of the EU to have creative freedom," which I took it as that they were going to reinvent with a whole new stories and stuff like that, and create their own characters around the movie characters.
Yeah,
right.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, I will kind of keep an eye on that just out of curiosity. However, I was like, I did not like the fact that they decanonized the EU. And, so I'm like, and then I'll stay over here with the books and stuff like that and continue to enjoy and stuff. They have proven otherwise by saying, we have every right to bring in anything out of the original Star Wars to use, which means that they're bringing things in by name only because it's not the true character anymore. It's just
all you have to do is watch the Luke Skywalker scene in The Mandalorian. Those dark troopers all of a sudden were turned into the Roger droids. They were supposed to be a big threat.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If they had if that had happened in the Lucas canon, Luke would be dead.
Yeah,
that many dark troopers would have blown him to bits. He wouldn't have had a chance.
Yeah, and then Katarn has a point here, and I find it funny. Like they're like those who don't like those things, like people who know the EU are like, we didn't like the New Jedi Order because the Vong were cut off from the Force, but then they like the Thrawn trilogy and don't say anything about the Yislamiri or whatever, how you pronounce their name. I find it funny now, and this even goes with people who did not like Dark Empire and now praise the rise of Palpatine. It's odd. It's very odd. For all those negative talk about Yislamiri from the EU folk, the High Republic just introduced a being that cuts off Jedi from the Force.
Yeah,
was it a
rock? Going to defend that one, but the thing, with the New Jedi Order series, I don't think it would have happened if it wasn't for Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay, I've heard many. I've heard.
I think the Vongs were basically the Borgs. They just switched them around. So instead of them being all about technology, they're all about anti-technology.
Okay.
That's
so there was inspiration taken from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to be inspired by other IPs. Like, oh, that was kind of a good thing that they were going with that. Let's go ahead and play with that and turn it into our own concepts.
Yeah, because if that weren't the case, I mean, for crying out loud, every fantasy ultimately was inspired by the Lord of the Rings and Conan and all that. So that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just when it's so blatantly copied.
Yeah. Let's see here. And thank you so much, Tommy, the guinea pig specialist here. He's got his guinea pig nation going on here. $10 super chat. I crack up every time they claim Disney never decanonized the EU since it was never canon to begin with. They refuse to admit there were sources saying it was. And why mention it if it wasn't? And you have a great point. And I have also pointed out that the EU Essential Legends that are being reprinted with the new covers, they took out the acknowledgement page that people like the authors put in there that went towards George Lucas, to Sue Restoni, to Lucasfilm licensing, about how much they had helped them develop the continuity.
Yeah. And you know what?
Honest.
I see a lot of people just go, oh, you just think the EU was perfect, No, it wasn't.
No, it
certainly wasn't. There's some really shit stuff in there too.
The Crystal Star.
And even though the EU was canon, it was on the lower tier than the movies. The movies were the top canon. The EU was below. And love the EU as much as you want, but it's still optional to the movies. It's extra stuff if you want to learn more, basically.
Yeah.
And George Lucas, who happened to know how to tell a story, he did a competent story. You don't need books to understand what the 6 movies he made were about. Unlike Disney, where you have to read 50 comics and 7 novels just to try and figure out how Palpatine survived.
Right.
Exactly. Or to correct what they did in the movie.
Yeah. The Disney, most of the Disney stuff is basically damage control for the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, if you read Tatooine Ghost, which is one of my favorite EU books, you don't have to read that in order to understand the movie. It's just a great Han and Leia story.
Right.
That's what it is.
It's a story for the timeline after the movies, but that you don't need to read it to make sense of anything, really. Yeah. Right. And that's what the expanded universe was about, or is about. It was about.
Keyword expanded. It just expands from the movies.
Right. And so everybody's responding here. Marcus Gutcher, I think I said that right. If I haven't, I apologize. By the way, came in late, just saw the title. Is Kennedy's contract really renewed? This is the rumor. We haven't heard anything formally announced. But the source that's shared in this article, and you can pull it up from my descriptions to read it on your own in depth and come to your own conclusion. But it is saying from the source that was given to this, to the writer here, that it has been. So take it with a grain of salt, or just take it and come to your own conclusion and wait things out. If there is never going to be an announcement, let's say 3 or 4 months later, there's no announcements, it's safe to say that she's still remaining. So.
Yeah, because her contract was up 3 weeks ago, and then we haven't heard a darn thing.
No, it was at the end of October.
Oh,
yeah, 31st, I think.
A couple months or a couple weeks. Yeah.
And okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I think, was this Euro right here? I still don't know how, read. So Billy Russo, I think it's Euro. Please correct me if I'm wrong. No topic. So it's $2. No topic. Just sorry, Stig get called out last week, or got called out last week.
Oh, it happens every week. Usually it doesn't happen with my full name though.
Right.
Fine.
Yeah. And he drew the line and was very respectful.
You know what?
It is is or whatever. Yeah.
my life is no better or worse as a result. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's what people want to do when they run out of arguments or self-control, then have at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
No, but it's not cool. It's never cool. It's never okay. It's always wrong.
Especially when someone decides to use it as malice against the person.
It's
then use it
always
as
used
someone
as
to attack.
malice.
Well, yeah, I mean, like other
I-
people, she used it as malice
I
because she was very upset, right? And she used it.
I just saw a little bit of the clip. That's all I
Mhm.
saw. People
Yeah.
were messaging me about it when I
Mhm.
woke up, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that being said, I did a tweet about it, and
Mhm.
I stand by it. Don't harass the person in any way
No.
as a result.
Yeah, don't
because
act
that-
as she or this person acts. Yeah.
Yeah, I
No.
don't like that.
Yeah.
And I saw people getting a bit nasty about it too. And
No, there's
Mhm.
no
Well,
reason
please
to
don't
be
do that.
nasty. Yeah.
Yeah. And Vertical Horizon has a point here. Luke and Lando novel will be coming out soon, and the book is Sith, and they just released is retroactively changing George Lucas's mythos and characters in the prequels to fit the sequels. Right, that's what's going on. They already changed the rule too.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're actually rewriting George's work, not the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at it. They've been changing, everything around the old trilogy. I mean, Jyn Erso is getting the credit now in Disney canon for the Death Star being destroyed.
Yeah.
Luke was just there.
Yeah, Luke was just incidental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And let's see what's going on. So let's start wrapping this up here. We've been on here like for an hour and a half. So let's just come to a conclusion. So Stig, what do you think about this this what has been announced with the direct.com? What is your
Well, like I said, I've seen a lot of YouTubers use this site as a source when it benefits them. So they're gonna have to do it if it doesn't benefit them either. That being said, still no official announcement from Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is just it's still a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. But I think it has happened. I think she's already signed a contract.
Yeah.
Sadly. But then again, if she had been fired or what have you, what the hell would that have fixed at this point? It should have been done after The Last Jedi. That's when
that's when the intention started being created. Like it was such a bad film. They need to fire her. If there was going to be a true firing, it probably would have happened shortly after that.
Yeah, even if they decanonize the sequel trilogy, let's say that happens. Sequel trilogy gets decanonized. Still won't fix things because you have the High Republic burning Star Wars at the other end, and then you have all the stuff they've done to, screw up the old trilogy and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then so Miss Smart Muses. So what are your thoughts regarding this?
Yep. Well, as I said earlier, if her contract's been renewed, it's the same thing as the sun rising in the east, cats meowing, dogs barking. And it's not even news because this whole idea of her being fired was always a fantasy. Even the first time. And that was the first time the rumor came around. I think that was maybe where there might have been a little bit of thinking that it could happen. But even then, it was wishful thinking. It was us, me included, putting ourselves self-inserting into what we would do if we were running Lucasfilm, but we're not. It makes perfect sense that it's been renewed. As I said, she has done quote unquote fantastic work. Look at what she's done with The Mandalorian. Look at what she's done with Baby Yoda. Look what she's going to be doing with Obi-Wan Kenobi. She's the brilliant woman who hired Favreau to do all of this. When I say brilliant, understand with some quote unquote in there. She's done exactly everything that a producer should do.
Right. Exactly. And as myself, like I said, until there's a formal announce otherwise, or even someone that is going to be her successor. And there was one more last little discussion. There was, like Stig announced this before we came live. I think it was Stig or was it Teresa, that there was people declining because they think that the president position for Disney Lucasfilm is tainted and they didn't want to pick up where Kennedy left off. So people refused. And so,
who the hell would want that job now? I mean, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. Well, if I would, I would get canceled so fast.
I would too.
Actually, I'm gonna step out there and say I think there's lots of people that would love to take over Lucasfilm right now. It's
like people with the same mindsets of hers, right?
Yeah, it's in a very good place, as I've said. Objectively speaking, it's like we've got the Book of Boba Fett, we've got Ahsoka, we've got Thrawn, we've got all this, we've got Obi-Wan. I think that there are plenty of people that would want to take over Lucasfilm. And as far as tainted, that's our point of view. Our point of view, it's tainted. Not from their point of view.
Right. And Matt Wilkins, hello. Speaking of tainted, Stig is on the stream.
I am indeed, sir. And I'm only on the stream to taunt you.
Right. He knew you were coming. He sensed it in the Force.
Wow. He's an Ewok lover, literally.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. And here we go. And shots has been fired now. And this
Matt Wilkins
continues between the two.
Matt Wilkins touched the wicket.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Well, we're going to
start.
It's slanderous right here. And all right, so we're going to start closing out. And again, like I said, until there's something formally announced, we could safe to say that she's still in there. And will it change? No. If you like Disney, Star Wars, that's fine. I'm not telling you otherwise. If you like both sides, George Lucas era and Disney, more power to you. If you like just playing the classical Star Wars, EU, George Lucas era, more power to you. I'm not here to tell you otherwise. My channel is heavily George Lucas era. That's where my love falls with Star Wars there. And here we have one more thing here. I'll see you in Ewok Court for that, Stig. So there you go. He's summoning you to court now, Stig, to Ewok.
He's
court.
just trying to get me on his channel again.
Yes, he is. I can't wait to see it when you get on the High Council.
50 damn emails about it every week. It's just,
no.
I'll pay you. I'll pay you. Name your price.
I kind of find that hard to believe, Stig.
Yeah, I don't think he has money either.
Oh no. But I think it's time for a rematch. I think that's good.
No, whenever I'm on a stream with him, he agrees with me.
Because he's a good host.
It's just when he's in the chat, he's acting all tough and all.
Oh, is he calling him out some more? Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he always talks about Stig behind his back on my chat.
Yeah.
And I always report it right away.
He just can't let me go.
No, he can't.
I just can't quit you.
Yeah, I can't quit you, Stig. Yeah, so that's I love that bromance between Stig and Matt. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. And then please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you to the Matt Wilkins hater stream folks. I love you, Matt. I love you.
He said it with a smile, but his eyes never smiled. They showed pain.
All right. So we're going to come to a conclusion here. Thank you guys so much for coming in. And thank you for those who sent a super chat. And then those who are coming in right now, I'm sorry that you're coming in at the end of the stream. And for our famous Matt and Stig bromance here, stay tuned. There will be more on other live streams. I guarantee it. Yeah. So if you're following this friendship here and how they like to talk to each other, you will not be disappointed because it's always going to happen. It's always going to happen. It's always fun. You guys are amazing.
And with rose petals in between them, protecting them both.
There you go. There you go. Yes. And then again, like I said, just form your own opinion and your own conclusion about what's going on. But in the end, is anything going to change for the better? Probably not. No. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I shall talk to you guys later. We do have coffee chat coming up, and I do some lore EU bits or shorts and stuff. So stay tuned for those as well. And thank you again, Teresa, for coming on.
I was happy I'd be here. Yeah, I'm a free woman now.
Woo!
So we're here. Yeah, night and day, kids. I'm ready for streaming.
Yeah, she's ready. She's ready to go. All right. So everybody in the chat, you guys have a wonderful start of the week, and I will see you on coffee chat or maybe even sooner. Talk to you later. Thank you, Stig, and may the force be with you all.